Well, a very good evening, folks, and welcome along to the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals, Week 7 here this weekend, here tonight, as you join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, standing in for James Parfitt, who asked me to jump in last minute, but I'm pleased to be alongside my good buddy, Mr. Jim Cunningham, here in the broadcast booth. This is the 7th week so far. We started off at Sebring, then headed to Mexico, Daytona, Long Beach, Rudskogen. Last week, Brands Hatch Grand Prix was the venue on February 5th. Then we've got 3 more weeks to go after this one. Circuit of the Americas, Mount Panorama, and the Temple of Speed, Autodromo Nazionale Monza. But more to the point, we're here at Charlotte in North Carolina. We're actually around about 20 miles outside of uptown Charlotte, here at the Charlotte Roval, and this circuit measures just a shade under 2.3 miles, a 35-degree elevation change, 17 turns, and with an altitude of 206 meters above sea level. Well, the format for the Battle of the Radicals will be as follows. We've got currently underway a 10-minute qualifying session, and then for 2 rounds of this series, the one that you and I got confused at week 3, which is an endurance 60 minutes, thanks to George Gonzaga for apologising afterwards that profusely. There is another 60-minute enduro to go, but that will be the final round at Monza in 4 weeks' time on March the 5th. But let's keep you up to date with what's happening. We have 2 of the Radical cars on the grid, the SR8s, and the current generation in use around the globe, the SR10s. So let's have a look at the respective point standings for the SR10s and also the SR8s as things stand. Simon Edwards leading the way after the opening 6 rounds of the series on 451 points. 42 ahead of Heinz Braun. Bruto Vitorino rounds out your top 3 ahead of Mr. Positivity himself when it comes to the Radical Race Series community, Phil Glover. James Barry has moved up to 5th in the standings ahead of George Gonzaga, with Mehmet Barat Akush rounding out the top 7. Christoph Lipp, Patricio Gomez Silva, and Fabio Regis rounding out your top 10 in the SR10s. But it is the German domination in the SR8 side of things, because I'm aware that Alexander and Christian Schuschke are just 42 points adrift, with Alexander leading the way. Robert Woodward rounds out top 3 ahead of Mr. Superstar DJ from Belgium, Mr. Stefan Mellis. He rounds out 4th, 70 points off of the series leader. Marcus Lang, Steve Webb, Tobias Teichel, Graham Matthew, and Chris Zutis and Mike Bousson rounding out your top 10. Chris Zutis is the man from France is sporting a very, very topical livery, which I think as we now go into the next 6.5 minutes of qualifying, there it is. They call him the Bandits. Jim Cunningham, good evening, buddy.
Hey man, good to be here with you again. It does seem like we work together in spurts. We just did one the other day. Now we got another one. And we got the old Trans Am livery here from Smokey and the Bandit. I tried to point this one out last week to my younger counterpart, and he had no idea, no clue about Smokey and the Bandit. So I tried to put him off on a good movie to go watch it. So we'll see if he did.
Watched all 3, because it wasn't just Burt Reynolds that played the Bandit. It was also the late great Jerry Reed who took up the mantle in Smokey and the Bandit 3 when it switched from the 1970s Pontiac Trans Am to what was effectively the Knight Rider equivalent with the T-top back in the early 1980s. Of course, Knight Rider starring David Hasselhoff, Edward Mulhare, and the voice of Kit, a certain Mr. William Daniels, who is still around, and he's 98 years old, would you believe it? Was the voice of Kit for many a year. But we are underway with time qualifying. James Barry in the number 10 is leading the way at a 1 minute 11.896. Simon Edwards in the next of the SR10s is currently P2, and he's about 9/100ths of a second back. Alexander Schuschke in the number 17 from Germany rounds out your top 3, leading the SR8 charge, as we have got with us at the moment James Barry and George Gonzaga, as Simon Edwards puts in a 1 minute 11.676, goes over 0.22 of a second quicker, and this man has won so many Radical Race Series titles, I think I've lost the amount of fingers and toes to try and count them on, possibly. But this particular circuit is also the home of the Bank of America Royal 400, Roval 400 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which also hosts the Coke 600 in the month of May. Of course, that is the month when we have the Indianapolis 500 for IndyCar at the famed Brickyard, and it is the fact that same weekend. Yeah, so Barry and Edwards, look at this, Jim. They're trading fastest laps.
They are trading fastest laps. So, of course, last year, you've had numerous guys try it over the years to run the double, which is run the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte and the Indianapolis 500 on the same day. Several guys have attempted to do it. The latest being Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson was one last year because they nearly drafted in Tony Kanaan and Aaron McLaren because they had the adverse weather. I remember that distinctly because we were like, everyone was hedging their bets. Is TK going to get behind the wheel? I'm sort of thinking if Zach Brown does not twist his arm to say, well, if Kyle's not getting in, you're stepping in, my friend.
That would have been pretty interesting, but I would imagine it's not easy just to step into somebody else's Indy car at Indianapolis. Those things are so fickle. The slightest little adjustments, and to not have had ample amount of time in that car to get used to it, that would be tough for sure.
Definitely. We've got 2 races coming up tonight here at the show, the Roval 2019 edition. It did go through a bit of a refresh just quite recently. So 12 laps for the opening race, 20 laps for race 2. And there will always be an invert when it comes to the finishing results. And so it will be the top 10 finishers will be inverted for race 2. But Christian Schuschka has just gone purple in the penultimate sector of the race. The circuit itself, and Schuschka goes ahead of Alexander. So the 2 brothers from Wolf Racing are definitely really motoring around the circuit in these cars. They're definitely pedaling like they're skating on ice here around at Charlotte, Jim.
Yeah, this is a tough track. It's I'm not gonna lie to you. Well, I'm not a Roval fan in general. The only thing I like about Rovals as a whole is that from a spectator perspective, you can get up in these big high bleacher stands, and you can see most or all of the track, which to me is that's cool that you can watch the action around the entire circuit. That's pretty neat. But I don't know, these Rovals to me don't have a ton of personality to them. To me it's very much like, hey, let's stuff a road course in here, and so I'm not a huge fan, but this one in particular, I do not like driving it. It is, I don't mind watching races here or whatever, but driving it is, I don't know, man. Just this place is tough. It's got a couple of turns that just don't agree with me at all.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of drivers that have yet to jump onto the circuit. 93 of Robert Williams and Nuno Rodriguez in the number 53 from Portugal. So at the minute, we have got 15 drivers. That does include Stefan Mellis. Now, the reason why Stefan Mellis is not on the timesheets, because every single lap he has done has been disallowed because of circumventing track limits. So hopefully, Mr. Superstar DJ will be able to get his tail all in order and everything, and try and get that car steering around the circuit a little bit better. But he has been, he normally can be very quick. So he's just done his 5th lap here in qualifying. Whether that is that has been disallowed as well. So I think the man that might be incurring the most slowdown penalties might be number 56 from Belgium.
It's good to have George Gonzaga back this week, the Portuguese man of war. He's missed the last 2 weeks of racing. Doing real world business stuff. Good to have him back. He's done a lot. He's a big reason that this league is back up and having nice 20-car grids again. I think he was instrumental in the combining of the 2-car idea and everything. I know Simon's big time involved in that as well. As a whole, I love this idea. This is, to me, just fantastic to bring this radical community back together. Super excited to see that. All right, let's see if we got a grid here.
Okay, so
we don't want those yet. We'll save that for later. All right, here we go.
So the starting front row will be as follows. James Barry will be on pole position. Simon Edwards alongside. Alexander and Christian Schuschke will line up on an all SR8 row number 2. The Bandit will be on the inside of row number 3. That's Chris Zoutis from France. George Gonzaga from the Insert Name Here team will be alongside him on row 3. Marcus Lang and Mike Busson will be on row number 4. Completing your top 10, it's Germany and Brazil, Andreas Lienen and Bruno Vittorino, rounding out the top 5 rows. Mr. Positivity himself, Phil Glover, will be joined by Steve Webb on row number 6. Row 7, it's going to be Freddie Shriver and Patricio Gomez y Silva. And then rounding out the penultimate row on the grid, Robert Williams and Nuno Rodriguez, with Stefan Mellis bringing up the rear of the field. Everyone's gridded up and ready as the 5 red lights here at Charlotte Roval get us underway. We're lights out and off and racing. Good start by James Barry as he's going to lead the field into turn number 1, but Christian Schuschke looking up the inside of Simon Edwards through turn 1. It's over the bridge, over the adverse cambered left-hander. Now it's through into 3 and 4, a quick double right section before the short blast up towards turn number 5, which in its way is a slight little bit of a kink. So in the meantime, Stefan Mellis, what a rocket ship start from the man from Belgium, up to 13th position from stone dead last on the grid, as Christian Schuschke got the jump on Alexander early doors, but James Barry leading the field, which includes multi-time Radical Race Series champion Simon Edwards by about 0.8 of a second as they're going to come through this banking. Then it's going to be the sort of very triangular shaped chicane. You've got to be very, very careful coming over the curbs here. Watch out for the sausage curbs, especially if you hit those too hard. You might end up rolling the vehicle. Meantime, Mike Busson trying to close in on George Gonzaga. So a little bit of a scrap here, and this could round the outside. Now that was very, very brave, I have to say, but that individual made sure that worked. So that would have been Bruno Vittorino, but that meant that Andreas Lienen there, wheel to wheel through turn 2, through the left-hander. Lienen's going to get the inside for 3, and Vittorino has to try, well, he's going to try and dive bomb through here at 4. This is going to allow Phil Glover to make it 2's company, 3's a crowd all of a sudden. And then we've got behind them Steve Webb. We ride on board with Vittorino. So he's trying to keep in touch with the German in front, who is running in the older generation, the SR8s. As the balance of the cars, of course, a lot more horsepower with the turbocharged SR10s. As here goes a move up the inside, and that was George Gonzaga slipstreaming through on Marcus Lang as they get through into the chicane at turns 15 to 17. Lang's going to have the overspeed, and then not too far behind, they've got Mike Busson charging down behind them. Vittorino, in the meantime, has got past Andreas Lienen. That is now a change for 9th, as we're now going to come towards the end of what is lap 2 out of 12. And they're bumping over the curbs, but oh no, Chris Zoutis in the wall, and Gonzaga is going to slipstream to the inside at turn 1. Will he make it through? No, the Bandit tries to keep his position, can't hold on, and there we go, Busson up the inside. That was great opportunist work by the man, not too far located outside of the domicile of a certain Mr. James Parfitt. They're from Frome in Somerset, of course, Frome being the hometown of a certain 2018 Super GT GT500 champion, and of course the 2009 Formula 1 Drivers' Champion, Jenson Button. Now, Marcus Lang got very close to the wall coming out of the corner there, and that would have been out of turn 7 as they come onto the very, very high banky. And Phil Glover trying to close on in. Now this is coming out of turn number 13, I would have thought. They look how close they get to the wall, as now Bruno Vittorino has got Andreas Lienen back on him again. And again, we are seeing at the Roval here at Charlotte here, Jim, it is nip and tuck as to what's going to happen, but Simon Edwards has got the fastest lap of the race with the 1 minute 12.002. We'll make that James Barry with an 11.827.
Yeah, they. I have a feeling they're probably going to swap fastest laps as well this race as they were in qualifying. Those two guys. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you the amount of races that these two in championships these two guys have won in radicals over the years.
But James Barry, the teammate of George Gonzaga, who's currently running in P5 at the moment, still leads the race as we're halfway through lap 4 out of this particular encounter. Steve Webb trying to close on in, coming out of turn number 7 on Phil Glover. This is the battle for 11th position on the road. You can see by the differences on the fronts of the cars with the more sort of angular headlights where they don't show the headlights on them. That's the SR10, and then you look behind at Steve Webb's car. That is one of the many SR8s. So they're indicated by grey for the SR10s on the timing tower and yellow for the SR8s, the previous generation naturally aspirated V8, where it's a turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine for the current day generation radicals. As now we've got Freddie Shriver closing in on Steve Webb. That is the battle for what will be effectively 4th position in the SR8s. But meantime, the fastest laps, you were definitely right there, Jim, that it's gone to Barry, it's gone to Edwards. It's a bit like what we'd say as, Nuno Rodriguez has just pitted on lap 4. So whether he's suffered any drama in the meantime. Christian and Alexander Shushka, the two brothers just doing what they need to do, getting good amount of points, because they have both consolidated some good runs here in the SR8 division of the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals. So basically there's been a lot of hard work behind the scenes, including a lot of assistance from Simon Edwards, George Gonzaga, to really get these cars on an even keel. So it's effectively they have between them come up with the indirect BOP for how you can make an SR8 as quick as an SR10 Radical.
Well, actually, to be honest, it's the SR10s, it's the SR8s that have to get more penalty than the SR10s. Because of the handling, the lightness and the handling of these cars. At most tracks, the SR8 is the dominant car. Now, you take a place like this or Daytona or something like that where there's some big high-speed runs, the SR10 then does have a bit of an advantage. But at most of the tracks, it's the SR8 that actually has the advantage, which surprises a lot of people. It did me when I first heard that.
Completely agree, but it still goes to show, well, don't know what happened with Nuno Rodriguez, whether he's suffered damage in that car, because that's been on its marks in the pit stall for just north of about 70 seconds. As into the wall goes Freddie Schreier. That was a big hit. That was coming through out of turn 7. So that's going to have a bit of damage to the right-hand side of that SR10. And now Webb is going to close on in and bump draft him all the way down to the upcoming chicane. On this particular occasion, Schreier uses the curbing. Webb avoids it like the plague. And then back on to what will be turn 13 and 14. But again, as you said, the SR8s being the more dominant car, but the SR10s really, we're seeing now that Barry and Edwards are pulling away a little bit. They're a little bit ahead of the two Shushkas in 3rd and 4th position, and then Gonzaga is about 8.5 seconds away from the race leader.
Yeah, the top 4 are, well, obviously you got the top 2, but the Shushka brothers have been pretty dominant. I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised that one of them wasn't up there battling for the pole. Typically one of them is throwing a number up in there as well. I think the biggest problem with this circuit is there aren't many of these drivers that know this circuit. Last week when we were doing interviews, post-race interviews, I don't think that any one of the drivers that we spoke to knew this course. Yeah,
I'd completely agree. I mean, we've seen when we were at Daytona for the 60-minute encounter, we had a drag race for the race victory between an SR8 and SR10. Marcus Lang, he went for a dive bomb on Chris Zoutis, got it all crossed up, cut the chicane, and now gets the slowdown penalty. And that enabled Mike Bousson to get through and becomes Piggy in the middle as they hustle their way through the sweeping left-hander here at turn 2. Lang has served the slowdown penalty. Bousson unable to capitalise on the situation in front of him. But one of the things that I've seen, like the chicanes are big when it comes to the track limit side of things, as we're riding on with the 666 from Team Radline, not to be confused with Max Verstappen's Team Redline. But more to the point, Bousson, we know, can always be a hard-charging individual. He's never got on with the SR10s as Mike, but he does always love getting behind the wheel of an SR8, so it's been his vehicle of choice as they go through the chicane here at turns 15 to 17, and it's going to be back on the power, up to third gear, now up to fourth, and then hopefully, as we would probably say from Ricky Bobby in the night, what was it, Knights of Talladega, slingshot engaged.
Yeah, right.
The ballad of Rocky. Can't get me words out. The ballad of Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights.
There you go. So it looks like we had a little incident here with Robert Williams. He did not get off to a good start. Well, probably at this pace it'll be a very slow accident. He didn't get off to too good of a start. He actually spun his tires horribly on the start. And, oh, my goodness. Yeah, he caught that wall on the... Oh, hold on to it. There you go. Yeah, that's... Andreas Lenin just had a moment as well.
Oh, right. Okay, let's see. He's still chasing down Bruno Vittorino. These two... Oh, that's coming... Oh, that's a code... That's a code brown and clean up on aisle 3 at turn 2. For the German, just carrying too much speed. It looked like
the wall there. Well, that's it. You know, you're coming off that banking, man. I mean, it's like turn 1 at Daytona. You know, you're carrying so much speed, and these cars are so light. And if you get that brake bias just adjusted wrong, or you stay on the brake a little too long as you start to turn the wheel on that thing, it'll snap around on you pretty quick. He did a good job keeping it out of the wall there. If you look here as we go into turn 1, I'll put it on the chopper angle. You know, those are walls. Those walls are right there, man. I mean, there's no runoff area at all. This is
it's just sort of like it's unstoppable force, which is the car, versus the wall, which is definitely a concrete, immovable object.
Yes.
And it's always the car that ends off worse, as we saw with Robert Williams there coming out of the final corner. So yeah, just broadsided it and bang, all of a sudden it's a big old hit, and that does not help with regards to the aerodynamic properties. Meantime, Alexander Shushka now has the overall fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 11.658. He's still running P4 though at the minute, but meantime, Simon Edwards is slowly taking time out of James Barry. Gap now 5.5 tenths of a second. Now we go on to our penultimate lap of the sprint race. It's going to be a 20 lap race coming up next, which will probably be round about the 20 to 25 minute mark. Chris Zoutis still trying to get one up on Mike Bousson just up ahead. So the Bandit trying to engage or get rid of the honkies, as they would say. Hey, Jim?
Yeah, this is back here. These are important spots back here too, because this is all, you know, when they reverse this field around, these are going to be the starting up front spots. You know, I believe it's the top 10 that gets reversed. So Bill Glover's sitting in a good spot right now. He's certainly wanting to hold off Leanin and hold on to this 10th spot.
Yeah, he's been the it's a bit like when we had Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor in the sort of like the first of the prequels, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So effectively in that aspect, Phil Glover is Simon Edwards' Padawan, yes, so to speak, if you want to use the Star Wars Jedi reference. But more to the point, we are coming to the end of the race itself. White flag is going to be in the air this time, and James Barry has led from lights out to checkered so far. They come over the crest, over the bridge, and down into the sweeping left-hander here at 2 before the double right complex at 3 and 4. So James Barry.
This is a tough area through here, getting a good run down this little straight here. And this turn right here is, to me, the toughest one on the track because it's uphill and then it's slightly downhill. And it's so easy to lose the car right there because the car gets really, really light. And, I'm telling you, I struggle around this place. And, it's tough.
We are now getting towards the end of the race itself, and James Barry has really been very much unchallenged. He got the start he needed. He started from pole position. They're coming out of turn 12 for the final time. Barry close to the wall and keeping it 2 wheels within the over the white and blue tram lines at the bottom of the oval section. And now we head into the final chicane. Turns 15, 16 and 17. Out of the final corner, it's James Barry that wins race 1 for SR10s. Simon Edwards rounds out second. It's going to be Christian ahead of Alexander Shushka that take the 1-2 in the SR8s. And it's going to be George Gonzaga rounds out the podium in SR10s. Marcus Lang does a clean sweep for the Wolf Racing team that have been so dominant this series. And he finishes ahead of Mike Boussault. Bruno Vitorino 8th, Chris Zutis and Phil Glover from Mr. Positivity Racing rounds out your top 10. So Phil Glover will be on the inverted top 10 reverse grid pole position. Here comes Robert Williams. He's going to be the last of our drivers to cross the line. Patricio Gomes de Silva from Portugal crosses line 15th. Williams will now come through the final chicane out of turn number 17, bumping over the sausage curb, and he is the last driver to complete all 12 laps of racing. Nuno Rodriguez is still running, however, apparently according to the live timing, and there he is, the teammate of Patricio Gomes de Silva. And so Nuno is making his way down to the last chicane, bumps over the curbs, and then that's it, job done. Everyone has finished the race, only Rodriguez finishing 7 laps down off of the lead as he spent over 8 minutes in pit road. But James Barry wins race number 1.
Yeah, and here are the results from race number 1.
So there you go, a total distance of 43.11 kilometres, track temp at 24 degrees Celsius. So hard charger, Stefan Mellis up 4 positions, James Barry pole position, fastest lap and most laps led, and there you see how the finishing order completed itself. Christian Shushka finishing 4.2 seconds behind James Barry, who led every single one of those 12 laps. And we've got a couple of minutes warm up here in the meantime, in the quick breather at the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals. And if you haven't already, why not give us a like, share the stream, and subscribe whilst you're at it here on the JP Broadcasting Network. Upcoming races will include the Virtual Circuit Racing MX5 Championship, round 6. It will be going to Oschersleben, and then we've got the G&R Designs GTE. Yeah, round 6, Mount Panorama.
That's gonna be a good one. That's a good lead, and that's going to be some good fun racing GTEs at Mount Panorama.
Oh, I love GTEs. I'm so gutted that they're no running anymore. But then, of course, the Virtual World Sports Car Championship 1981 goes to the Temple of Speed, Autodromo Nazionale Monza, for the 250 kilometers race. That will be this coming Saturday at around about 6:45 GMT, which will be, if my memory is correct, which will be 2:45 Eastern Time in the US.
Yep, and we got just right after that on Sunday also the IGP Fun League. Super Formula Lights.
Yeah, we got the IGP IGP Fun Super Formula Lights, forefront Toyota GR86 with Tanzer Racing Group, and also the JARC novice driver Porsche Cup, I think, is this weekend as well, this coming Sunday. But we're getting ready to grid up for our second race of the night. 20 laps here at Charlotte Roval before we head to COTA in the Lone Star State in Texas next week. Oh, don't worry, Jim. Don't worry. These things happen. Yeah, that's the problem when you've got too many buttons to press.
Yeah,
so here's your start.
Up so fast. Whoop.
I know. It's Phil Glover and Chris Zutis on the first row. Row 2, Bruno Vitorino and Mike Busson. Row 3, it will be Marcus Lang and George Gonzaga. And then it's Alexander and Christian Schuschke on row number 4. Simon Edwards and James Barry will be completing the inverted top 10. Andreas Lienen will be joined by Freddie Schreiber on row 6. Stefan Mellis and Pete Webb will be on row 7, with Patricio Gomez de Silva, Robert Williams and Nuno Rodriguez as the lights have gone out and we're already underway. Phil Glover will lead the field into turn 1, but here comes Bruno Vitorino, makes it 3 wide. Busson to the outside, and Vitorino's been turned around. And I think maybe Busson's lost a couple of positions. And oh no! Phil Glover has just been contacted by Alexander Schuschke going through into turn 3, and all hell has broken loose behind. Simon Edwards has also dropped.
Yeah, Phil got loose there coming through turn 1, and he was still trying to save it when Schuschke got into it. Was it Schuschke that got into him? No, I think it was Lang.
It was
Marcus Lang.
Oh, it was Marcus Lang. Oh, it was the sorry.
They're identical. Almost.
That's the problem. They need to do something more than just stripes.
Yeah, that's the only difference in them is the stripes for real. I think Phil's in trouble. He torched his tires to start with, and then on top of that, he got plowed in the back pretty hard. I think he's probably got a little bit of damage there.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a hard hit. I mean, Marcus Lang lost the front hood of the car, and it just literally flew up into the air and just caused havoc behind. Meantime, it is Chris Zutis, who we're going to nickname the Bandit if he keeps on with that livery all the remainder of the season.
Bandit. He's already nicknamed. It's done.
Yeah. Come on, Bandit. 10-4, good buddy. Read you loud and clear. Sorry. Right, Mike Busson is charging at him. Meantime, George Gonzaga is through on Bruno Vitorino. Vitorino, who started on the inside of row number 2, he's got James Barry sniffing up his inside, going through into 4. So Andreas Lienen has made it to the circuit. Marcus Lang is going to be in there for quite a significant amount of time because that front end too.
This was Marcus Lang's first incident right here. Okay, no, that was okay. So yeah, he just caught back into Phil there. Phil, like I said, got in trouble coming off the start. Then he backed it into the wall on top of it. Oh my goodness! Now Simon Edwards was involved there. I want to see this. So he got bumped around by either Barry or I think it was Stefan Mellis, one of the two. And then
I think the thing was he had to check up because he nearly plowed into the back of Bruno Vitorino, so there might have been a little bit of contact there.
He's got
hence the front.
He's got damage all over the front end too. So yeah, he's in a mess. That's not going to go well. And then we had this incident just happen. This is Mellis and Steve Webb.
And there's Williams going to the inside.
Oh, Webb. Webb just got a little,
Stefan had nowhere to go on that.
No, he didn't. That's unfortunate. And Steve Webb's our favorite marshal. He's a big time into promoting the sign up for the marshalling program. He's a marshal and super great guy.
The BMMC, if I remember correctly, which helps a lot. I mean, a lot of my friends do some training through that, and there's also a well-known British commentator by the name of Mark Werrell, who's actually an ambassador for BMMC UK, but also I've had the opportunity of meet him and actually interview him when he was racing at the Distro Parts Distribution Citroen C1 24 Hours of Silverstone back in 2019, where we celebrated Citroen's centenary, and we had 99 cars on the grid, and the car that that took pole in that race was disqualified for being underweight after qualifying, and then started 99th and stone dead last, and after 24 hours they won the race. Okay, Phil Glover has decided, well, the damage is too much, and that is now going to bring him down pit road here at Charlotte. So not been an easy one, especially when your name is Marcus Lang and you are well over nearly 2.5 laps down off of the race leader, which continues to be the Bandit, Chris Zoutis. James Barry now up into P6. But Christian Schuschke and Robert Williams at the moment are the two hardest chargers. Robert Williams up from 16th, now 10th. And Christian Schuschke started 8th, now runs P2 and is the second behind Chris Zoutis. So this is going to be another battle where we're going to see the might of the SR10 versus the SR8. There's Mike Bousson rounding out your top three at the moment, about 6 tenths ahead of Alexander Schuschke. But meantime, Chris Zoutis. That was coming through turn 10. He lost the back end of the car, and that has brought Christian Schuschke right on his rear diffuser.
Yeah, this is. I think he's going to get by him here pretty soon. I'm sure. Zoutis got a good run there.
Yeah, it could have nearly happened, but I think he just decided discretion was the better part of valor because there are other opportune places to overtake, really. I mean, turn to Bousson. How close do you want to... Mike Bousson was so close to the wall, he must have been scraping the paint off the left side pod. He's absolutely charging.
Oh, yeah, he's, Mike's great, though, man. He runs the car right on the ragged edge for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a very opinionated individual, as the amount of times myself and James have spoken to him over the years.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's toned it back recently in the past year or so. He's not quite as bad as he used to be, but yeah, he definitely has opinions for sure.
And he rounds out our overall top three. Three-fifths of the top 5 are made up of SR8 machinery as we're bumping our way through turns 10 to 12. Then it's going to be through the oval banking here at 13 and 14 before we get onto the final chicane that puts us on the start-finish stretch here at Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. So a big thank you to everyone that is watching at the moment, as now it is going to be Alexander Schuschke in the meantime managed to get through and pass Mike Bousson. There's George Gonzaga. So a quintet of cars are literally covered by not much, probably about 2.3 seconds, but Bousson is being closed on in. There's James Barry, George Gonzaga's teammate, very, very close in proximity as well. And he's been the quickest out of anybody here in this second race of the night. So can James Barry possibly have an opportunity of doing the double, where we are very, very close to hitting lap 6 out of 20, so nearly a third distance completed. And more to the point, James Barry doing what he can. Robert Williams still running as the hardest charger in this race so far, up 6 spots, still rounds out the overall top 10 as there's a move, and that was Gonzaga versus Bousson, and George got through by next to nothing. And Mike is saying, hey, hang on a second, you ain't getting away with that, sunshine.
I'll tell you what, man, I just realized the action's been so hot and heavy in the first 6 laps of this race, I didn't even turn the timing tower on. I was so busy watching all this action.
It's always good to see. Mike has to check up. Mike Bousson checks up, under braking through into turn 1 really on George Gonzaga. Yeah, Nuno Rodriguez has just picked up a brief slowdown penalty, but look now, the top 3 covered by less than 3/4 of a second. Mike has a little bit of a wobble coming out of turn 4, and that's not going to help him at all, trying to chase down George up in front. The gap between them is about 4 and a bit tenths of a second. There's now Christian and Alexander Schuschke are still trying to catch up with the man they call the Bandit. Chris Zoutis up in front and still led this race. Started from the outside of the front row. Phil Glover in the meantime, unfortunately, after having to serve a pit stop, which meant he was on his marks in the pit stall for about 3/4 of a minute, now finds himself down in 15th position. Good battle here. Simon Edwards versus Freddie Shriver. This is for P8 on the road. Shriver takes a bit too much sausage curve through the opening part of the chicane at turn number 10. And Edwards is right all over him like a rash. He's looking to the high side of the banking here at turn 13. Simon, we know that you're quick, but sometimes the slipstream doesn't work in your favour. Through the final complex, and he clips the wall.
I'm pretty sure Simon's got some damage. He should have. No offense to Freddie, but Simon should have disposed of him right there. He had a draft run on him and couldn't get by him. I got to believe there's some damage there.
Probably still that languishing damage from the front end. Meantime, it's getting fruity at the front end of the field. Chris Zoutis is still leading after 7.5 laps out of the 20, so 3.5 laps to go as Robert Williams dives into pit lane, maybe for... Well, he had a bit of a broadside on one of the exits of the chicanes earlier on. As here goes Christian Schuschka to the inside. Chris Zoutis cuts across his nose with millimetres to spare, holds on to the race lead, and now James Barry has gotten up past Mike Bousson. So the insert name here, E-Racing team. Oh, and Bousson's got damage to the back end.
To Bousson. Let's go see what happened to him.
Oh, this is going to be into the first of the 2 chicanes. Oh, no. Don't tell me. Back end steps out to the left, and it clobbers the rear, and then another trip into the barriers.
He really lost it going in, and he was trying to hang on to it. And let's watch that one more time from the chopper angle this time. You can see the back end got out on him right here, and he's trying to hang on to it, locked it up, and then just back end stepped out on him there, carried too much speed. Oh, Mike, that's what I say, though. He runs it on the ragged edge, man. That's the way Mike drives, you know? Yeah,
that means he's going to have to more than likely... Yeah, he's in the pits now, unfortunately, for that double whammy on the rear. It's sort of like, you know, driver will say, yeah, I got it, and then as soon as they hit something, I don't got it. You know, it's sort of like his...
Barry did a good job avoiding that, though. He really did.
Yeah, he did.
Right in front of James Barry, so... But props to Mike. He did hold on to his brakes, though, and lock that thing down pretty fast, too. So, Simon is now struggling with Freddie here. Like I said, again, no offense to Freddie at all. But
I think he just hit the wall again.
Simon did?
Probably with the... I think it looked like there was a big cloud of dust by the walls, so whether he's clobbered the left rear on it, but... Still, he's trying everything he can. Can he go late on the brakes? Oh, no! Oh, dear. That was... you know what? Freddie Schreier will be... I know Simon... We know Simon very, very well. There's damage. There's damage on the right side pod of that car. Look, it's and the rear bumper as well. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's actually on... Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's no damage on the left, but it's more the right rear that's taken the battery, including the rear bumper. So, yeah, he did the right thing of just letting Freddie stay in front after that.
He kind of forced him off track there, and that's, Simon's not that kind of guy, at all.
Here goes teammate on teammate. Oh, no. Well played, James. And George just went, "Oi, careful with teammates." And he had to back out of that pretty quickly, so he lost a bit of time, did George, on that particular occasion. I think the best part of about 2 to 3 tenths of a second. So
Schuschka got by
Zoutis.
Yeah.
So Christian Schuschka in the meantime has got past the Bandit, who's no longer leading the train.
Watch this little segment here. This is going to be back and forth. Watch.
So around the outside he goes into the chicane, and bit of a big old bump on the curbing out of the chicane by Chris Zoutis, and then Alexander tries to go through at turn 1. Chris shuts the door.
Yeah.
And
I thought there was a little more to that, but maybe not.
Yeah, it was a little bit to you, but it wasn't that.
Not as big as I thought it was. Yeah, I thought they were actually going to pass each other back and forth, but no. Well, this is terribly surprising to see one of these Schuschka brothers up here in the lead of this race. Those boys are fast, man.
Well, they do. With the amount of people that I know within the world of German sim racing personally, there are a lot of drivers that spend an insane amount of time behind the wheel, like 4 to 8 hours of practicing a day. As Simon Edwards finally gets past Freddie Schreier, and then they swap positions. And here go the two teammates. Oh, Freddie's lost his front hood and the rear wing.
What in the
world? Freddie, what have you done, buddy?
No, I think this might be. Let's see what happened here. This might be. Yeah, that's what I thought happened.
He's cut. In some respects, I would actually say that's probably a little bit more on Freddie than it was Simon.
Yeah,
Simon was getting the run on him, and Freddie just cut across. Let's just have a look. From the on board with Simon. So Simon goes to the outside, Freddie goes to cover off, bang, there's the contact, Freddie hard into the wall, collects Simon, and Simon gets a little bit of front end damage for his troubles, let alone the right rear of the car. So, and they're both into pit lane, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's a rough mess there Freddie's driving. I would even go as far as to say maybe he wasn't even trying to cover Simon off as much as he was just trying to kick out to get through this chicane, and just didn't realize Simon made that move up on the side of him so fast. But either way, yeah, that was I would say that was definitely on Freddie there. A racing incident nonetheless, but just,
Yeah. Oh, George Gonzaga, I think, just clattered the wall because there was a big kick up of dust there. So that would have been right rear against the outside wall coming out of turn 17 onto the start-finish stretch. So George has got to battle away with Mr. Bandit, Mr. Chris Zoutis, who is right with him.
Had a little issue there, apparently, because while we were watching that replay of Simon, George and James both got by Zoutis there. Now he's all the way back in 5th.
Yeah, definitely. It's a game of two halves. And look how
he clipped that inside on that chicane.
Well held, Chris Zoutis. Oh my! Oh well, shades of Burt Reynolds coming out there. Yeah, he was. And that's
no. Oh yeah, that's bad.
Oh, he just forgot his brake marker there. I think it was just
out of rhythm. You know how that goes when you get out of rhythm and you just, it's just one little mistake after another, and they just kind of compound each other. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm really curious to see if James has got enough time with 6 laps to go to run these Schuster brothers down.
Well, he's just put in the fastest lap of the race. The Shishka brothers are running quite comparable.
Yeah, very comparable.
56 thousandths of a second covering the top 3 in terms of the last laps that they've just separated on. So we are, it's going to be 7 to go, including this one. So we're on lap 14 out of 20 here at week 7 of the 2026 Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals season number 1, which concludes March 5th at Monza for the 60-minute endurance.
Well, I'll tell you, the last 3 races on this schedule are just barn burners, man. All 3 of them, Well, I'm trying to remember now what they were. Circuit of the Americas, Mount Panorama, and Monza, man. All I'm going to say is Rettifilio, turn 1, expect 3 wide at least. Oh, sure.
I was there for Porsche Sports Cup Suisse last, I think it was July. Incredibly hot temperatures. I think it was like about 26 to 30 degrees Celsius, and the track temperature, like literally my trainers, you could feel all the rubber that had been left behind by the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup tyres that the drivers use, because with Porsche Suisse, it's one of 35 one-make series that is in collaboration with Porsche Motorsport, with the new Carrera Cups, of course, the 992.2 now, the mainstay here on the iRacing service, a car that's been very, very much loved by a lot of people, including a man who won in Porsche Carrera Cup North America and Canada. I am, of course, talking about former Mercedes Works driver, Canada's Daniel Morad, who runs the Moradna sim racing outfit and is a keen sim racer in his own right.
Yes.
Andreas Lienen has just come into the pits, so he's suffered a little bit of drama. So one of our 4 German drivers, as Christian Schuschke, now ahead of brother Alexander by a second and 3/4. Meantime, Alexander is the fastest driver out there, a 1 minute 11.871. But the gap,
they're opening this gap up on Barry.
They are. They are. They found that rhythm. They found that sort of way of being.
I mean, for anybody that knows, this series and knows these drivers, James Barry's fast. I mean, James Barry was world class, or I say was, is. I mean, when I first came into broadcasting, if there was a radical, James Barry was winning it. Him and Simon were just absolutely destroying everybody, and but these Shuska brothers, when they popped up in this league, man, they popped in, and the first couple of races they were getting their feet under them, but man, they have taken off and they are so fast. Oh, we got there. Oh, is that Lang? I think that was Marcus Lang.
Christian Shuska.
No. Oh, that was Shuska?
Yeah, Christian Shuska's just drops it. Oh dear. Oh, I thought I saw a big plume of smoke. He must have lost it big time.
I saw it, but I thought it was, of course, they're all those blue cars with different color stripes on them.
The Fox Racing trio. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Okay, let's have a look. So this is
he's coming down the
coming into so this is going to be into turns 10, 11, and 12 onto the curb.
He did all right. He saved it. That's good save. Actually, that's an easy spot to absolutely destroy your car there. He did a good job.
Yeah, but something definitely puckered up right there and then. As soon as he was puckering like a good one.
A straight pin through that,
yeah, 100% there. But I mean, just how he dusted himself off, went right. Okay, okay, Christian, you've made a little bit of a boo-boo. Just dust yourself off, get yourself back in the right direction, and just go on. As we're going to see Alexander now, who's leading. We're about to complete lap 17, so 3 to go here at Charlotte Roval for week 7, race number 2, and it is going to be an S. And look at James; he is actually starting to close that gap a little.
I don't know if 3 laps is enough time to get it done without a mistake happening, but he is closing finally.
He needs about at least 7 to 8 tenths of a second a lap, and it's only 2 tenths that time around. So, if Alexander's going to catch traffic, which I think he might have just done, if he's caught traffic, then James is going to, he got through, and that would have been on Nuno Rodriguez, who's so up to 11th position has been lapped so far, but Alexander was able to quickly get past and facilitate that move rather early, so to keep the barrier between himself and James Barry, who will come away with a good amount of points tonight, a win in race 1 and in both classes for the SR10, so he'll extend his lead in the championship standings going into COTA next week. But more to the point, we are really counting down what has been a fast and frantic race night here at Charlotte, I would imagine, Jim, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely, and a little bit of chaos here, which doesn't surprise me. This, like I said, this road course is tough, man. This is arguably one of the harder rovals, I think, just because of the off-camber turns and these big curbs around here. These cars are very light. Actually, this is the very first time I ever drove a Radical. I signed up for a league race here with this league, and I had never driven this track. And I popped in about 15 minutes before the session and tried to learn. Oh, he took it wide right there. Oh, that should bring James up a little bit.
Probably not by much, though. Probably about a tenth, really. But it is going to be the white flag lap next time around. But yeah, like you say, what is Freddie Schreier? Oh dear, Freddie Schreier's had a fairly. Yeah, that's Freddie again. Oh, he's definitely had his moments here tonight. And rejoins and lets everyone slingshot past.
Crazy battle that just went right by him. Who was it? It was these two. I saw him go by Freddie when we were looking at Freddie there. These two are getting after it here too. Look at this.
Yeah, and that's Gonzaga, Barry's teammate, versus Christian Shuska, the other one of the brothers. And Shuska's going to get the run coming out of turn number 12. He's right on the rear of the Portuguese man of war, who's trying to keep that car as wide as humanly possible. It is going to be white flag lap this time as Alexander Shuska brings us on to the last tour of the 2.28 mile 17 turn circuit here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And more to the point, as it is known, I think it's America's home of racing? I think is the strap line.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, because you've got America.
This place had that promoter. What was his name? He just passed away. Oh, I can't remember his name. He was brilliant racing promoter in the United States, man. He put Charlotte on the map with all the crazy stuff he used to do here.
Humphrey Wheeler, wasn't it?
Yeah, Humpy Wheeler. Yes, Humpy Wheeler.
Yeah, because now the current president is Greg Walter, appointed back in 2018-19. Meantime, let's concentrate on the man of the moment. It was James Barry that won race number 1 in the SR10. But we now head our way through turns 13 and 14 for the final time here on lap number 20 out of 20. Christian Schuschka's just got a slow down penalty when he didn't need it the most, but it is going to be the run to the final chicane, and it will be... Oh, what has happened? Has Alexander Schuschka, he slowed. Did he run out of fuel? He's crawling.
God, he is crawling.
He's crawling. Oh my goodness, and Gonzaga gets through. Alexander Schuschka is going to lose out to Christian. Oh my God!
What in
Did that
world?
now? I, you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to look back at the footage here, Jim.
I'm gonna go
to hear.
All right, let's see. Let's go back. All right, here. Let's go on board and watch his revs. His revs are dropping. Oh yeah, he's out of gas. He's out of gas. Look at this.
The last chicane, and Alexander Schuschka loses the win to brother Christian.
These cars should have been set up to not run out of gas, though. This isn't a pit stop, or unless he pulled fuel out of that car to try to lighten it up. It's very interesting. I'm curious about that. That's strange. You know, we don't see cars run out of gas in this series, you know. Wow. Okay.
Oh, well.
Well, that was a turn of events, wasn't it?
Yeah, a cliffhanger right at the final chicane, and that's what caused problems for Alexander Schuschka, who still gets the fastest lap of the race nevertheless with the 1:11.871.
Let's see our results here.
Okay, so James Barry, 2 for 2, and it's an insert name e-racing team 1-2 because George Gonzaga also capitalized. Christian Schuschka takes 2 wins on the bounce in SR8s with Alexander Schuschka running out of fuel, crawling across the line, finishing ahead of Chris Zoutis, the bandit, who had the most laps led, 8 out of them. James Barry, the hard charger of the night in race 2 from 10th to victory. Nearly 72 kilometres completed. Alexander Schuschka, 1:11.871 is your fastest lap. Pole position did go the way of our good friend Mr. Phil Glover, who managed to recoup a couple of places at the end of the race. He finished ahead of Marcus Lang, finishing P12. But there you see our race results here for week 7 of season 1 of 2026 for the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals, which heads to COTA next week. I'm just wondering if we might be joined by a few other people. But I think what we need to do, we need to pull in the stalwart who's always up for a chat. Let's bring him in, shall we?
Absolutely.
Mr. Glover, it's been a while since Daytona, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Race 2 didn't quite go to plan, did it, mate, on that first lap?
No, it didn't. I don't. All the practicing I've done, I've never had it that slippy in the rear end. I just couldn't seem to make anything stick with the back end. So obviously that caused a few shenanigans, didn't it?
Because Marcus punted you up the rear, and then you picked it in. I think it was it just the fact that the balance was so bad on the back of the car after that big old hit that you just thought, you know what, I'll just repair the thing.
It didn't help, and going into one of the chicanes, I don't know, maybe I didn't have enough rear end to make it work. I ended up going straight on, and then I was trying to lose the time without impacting people, and I just didn't quite get it right. So I had to go for a drive-through, which meant I could fix my wing at the same time. And then, to be honest, it was fairly undramatic for me. I was quite well back down, but I drove pretty well from there on, I think. But obviously it didn't help me with position. Whereabouts did I come in the end?
You recovered to 12th in the last race, which, considering that you had all the issues you had, that's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's okay. I find it really difficult to work out where I am now. We're in split
Right.
classes because it doesn't show up as your position on the black box. So I'm often surprised that when I find out when I finish.
I know you run in VR. Do you run any additional overlays in your VR?
No, none other than the ones that you get normally.
Just no sponsorship or anything like that, but Race Lab, their overlays they now have some really good VR overlays that you can really move around and position where you want them. Just something maybe to look into if you want something different in there.
Yeah, that's.
They just.
Well, I'd like to know whereabouts I am.
Before that, it was hard.
Yeah.
The overlays for VR were terrible, but finally they came out with some really good ones. Just check them out.
Yeah, I used to use Crew Chief as well. I don't know why I changed my computer and I never put it back on, but maybe I should put that back on. That would tell me that sort of stuff as well.
All right. Well, this is a personal sponsor of mine, Digital Race Engineer.
Hit the wall then.
That was my fault. Yeah. Digital Race Engineer. They offer a free version, and to be honest, they're a lot better than Crew Chief. Check them out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I had 5 or 6 laps worth of fuel, so I just tend to just wind down after I've finished the race.
Well, I'm dying to pull some of these other guys in here to figure out what happened at the lead, because apparently Alexander ran out of gas right at the end of the race there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Final chicane. He was coming out of turn 14, and then all of a sudden saw him slowing. But Phil, one final question. You looking forward to COTA next week?
I'm always looking forward to every track. I can't recollect which one that is, but I'll be there.
Circuit of the Americas, the Formula One track in Texas.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
You can be right in my backyard.
Yeah. Get the beers ready. I'll see you later.
There you go.
Take care,
All
Phil.
Right, buddy.
See you guys. Bye.
I love Phil. He's the best.
Oh, he's Mr. Positivity. That's when I started doing radicals. But I think what we need to do, we need to get our double race winner in, don't we?
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's bring him in. James Barry joins us. James, it's Alex and Jim in the commentary box. Good evening. Double race winner, but were you surprised like we were when Alexander pretty much came to a crawl and you shot by him on the entrance to the chicane on the final lap here in race 2?
I have no idea what happened there. Yeah, he said something on the mic and I couldn't understand what. So
it looked like everything we could see. It looked like he ran out of gas or he torched his engine, but we just seen smoke if he'd have blew his motor up. So
yeah, exactly. So I have no idea.
Yeah, it was.
But still,
yeah. All of a sudden, we went in car to look, and all of a sudden, his RPMs just started dropping. So he must have short fueled that car or something, pulled some gas out of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you, though.
Yeah, cheers. Good stuff. Enjoyed the track. So first race, just standard kind of good pace in qualifying, pulled away, just kept it consistent. Shout out to Simon for keeping me honest through that one. And then second race, got a bit messy at the start, had a bit of damage. And then I had some real life damage because I've got a wheel stand in front of me and it's a bit DIY with how it's kind of propped up in places. And I had a little support collapse at the back left corner. So after about lap 5, my wheel was kind of moving around in my hands.
Oh no!
So that was horrible. But fortunately, it all kind of boxed up in front of me, and both the Shushkas run into their trouble. So yeah.
So you said you enjoyed the race and the track, did you? Because I know last week we talked about you weren't familiar with this place. What's your honest opinion of it now that you had ran some laps here? Do you really like the track, or is it?
I really like the track. I think it's great because you've got the elevation changes all over the place.
Yeah. And
you've got turns like turn 1 and 2 have a real nice camber. Well, turn 2 does. And then the 7 and 8, the left-hander before the oval is like a real game of chicken in a way with the outside wall and the inside wall in here. So yeah, it's really fun. It's way better than Daytona, I'll say that.
It's honestly, it is one of the very few Roval tracks that does have elevation changes, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really interesting to drive. Yeah, and I made a track guide as well for the fixed community. So it's been fun trying to actually encourage people to learn the track and drive it.
Right. Yeah, it's good. That's I'd actually like to see that track guide myself.
Yeah, but, it's in the Radical. It's on YouTube. Find it on YouTube.
Yep. All right.
So yeah.
Well, James, congratulations on the double victory, and we'll see you next week at Circuit of the Americas for week 8.
Yes. Yeah. See you there. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
I think we've got time for one more interview, haven't we?
Bring Freddie in.
Let's bring Freddie in. Well, Freddie Shriver joins us. Freddie, it's not been the easiest nights for you in the office. Let's be completely honest, my friend.
No. So today, I joined the league initially at 7 o'clock today. Yeah,
brave man.
Thursday's my only day off in the week, so I decided to find something, and barely driven these cars, only in test drives, and never driven this track before. It was just a bit of a struggle getting used to it, and all my apologies to Simon. I think it's just the nerves of my first league race, and I thought he moved over further, so I moved over as well, but yeah, clearly not.
It happens. Simon will understand. He's a pretty easygoing guy, but yeah. Well, hats off to you for joining and jumping in here. I don't know how well you know these guys, if you know their reputations or not, but there's Simon and James Berry are some of the fastest radical drivers in the world. So you're in, and the Schuster brothers as well. You're in some good company here, and you'll find this is a great place to learn and have some fun. There's some high quality talent in this league for sure.
Yeah, I think it's. I definitely have my Newton meters too high. I couldn't really control my wheel, to be honest.
On the force feedback.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think, as Jim said, the community here at Radical Race Series, everyone's open, everyone's able to help everybody out, and with with James, with Simon, as Jim just alluded to, you're in good hands. I mean, there's another 3 weeks where you can learn and build up on your racecraft in the SR10. I mean, but nevertheless, for only having jumped on board at 7 p.m. this evening, and we're now 3.25 hours later. You must be happy that you've been able to find something where you can get some racing under your belt here on iRacing and have some fun at the same time.
Yeah, well, it was amazing, to be honest, until that incident, which I take full responsibility for. And a few years ago, I first actually noticed Radicals properly, and since then I've wanted to drive them badly, but because of not many people do it in iRacing. I think this was a great experience tonight.
Well, stick with this league. You'll find it's a good group of guys and a lot of people willing to help you, and some good hard racing. You can, like I said, you're battling some of the best radical drivers in the world. So
yeah,
just and the thing is, they're cool. They'll help you out. Like James Berry just said, he did a track guide for the fixed radical community. So you can learn some stuff from that. Like I said, there's plenty of help to be had here. You can get fast quick here if you work at it.
Yeah, amazing.
All right, buddy. It was good to have you here. Glad you joined the league, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Circuit of the Americas.
Be there next week. Bye bye.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what happened there. I clicked onto Freddie and I inadvertently clicked onto you, Jim. So sorry about that.
That's all right.
But nevertheless, dramas in the final.
Out. That's good.
I
really wish the Schuster. I really wish Alexander would have come in. I would have loved to have known what happened there.
Well, the thing is that if they want to do an interview in German and I'm on the broadcast, then at least I can translate, so that's not a problem.
That's true. That's true.
The thing is, if he took a couple of litres out, it was all the difference of making it across that line first as an SR8 as an overall race winner. But nevertheless, he still finishes second, and it could keep his championship lead intact. However, we go to well. In terms of he finished P2 in the SR8s behind his brother.
Yeah, that's right.
But more to the point, Jim. Next week, the Battle of the Radicals goes to your backyard, the Lone Star State at Circuit of the Americas. You're looking forward to that one, I'm sure, aren't you?
I am. I let James influence me for a long time about Circuit of the Americas, and he had me soured on it. And then I started doing some racing there. You know what? I don't care what James says. I love Circuit of the Americas. I don't care if they've copied other tracks or whatever the case may be. I don't care. It's a good circuit. It's fun. It's got huge elevation changes. It's in a beautiful part of Texas. I'm all for it, man. I like it.
Well, that's it for our live broadcast of week 7 of season 1 for 2026 of the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals here at the Charlotte Roval. Thank you so much to everyone that's watched along here on the JP Broadcasting Network. You've been in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Jim Cunningham. So the series goes from North Carolina to the Lone Star State in Texas for week 8. Just 3 more rounds to go as we've got COTA, Bathurst and the Temple of Speed, Monza, to close out season number 1. Until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.